So, the first thing that economists like to know about any market, and the tobacco market in particular, is how demand will respond to price. So, study after study in a lot of countries has shown that the response to price is really as you would expect. That is, as price goes up, relative prices increase, consumption declines. And this tends to be about 1 to 5% depending upon the country. Now, 1 to 5% may not sound like very much, but if you consider a few things, it's quite interesting. One, we're really talking about millions of smokers, millions of consumers, and therefore millions of potential deaths averted when a tax increases. Two, you'll notice that most countries' prices are really low. Prices, even adjusting for international purchasing power differences, are quite low, less than $2 in a lot of countries. And three, in a lot of countries, you'll find that tobacco taxes as they stand are less than 50% of the price of the final product. A lot of countries have a long way to go to raise their taxes and to raise the relative price of tobacco products in that way and to reduce consumption. So I guess one of the questions that gets asked around the Bloomberg Initiative, which focuses on low and middle income countries, is whether taxation is very different in high income countries versus in low income countries. It's really quite the same in the sense that consumer responses are fairly similar across countries. And the tobacco industry tends to be fairly similar, highly concentrated in country after country. But there are a couple of differences, and now that you brought it up, about how high-income countries are different from low-income countries. So a lot of these countries have a legacy of favoring the tobacco sector or of favoring a subset of the tobacco sector. An extension of that would be if the government itself has a tobacco monopoly. So you're trying to balance doing tax policy from one side of the government with thinking of how you want to deal with the tobacco industry, which is part of the government. What makes the whole mix interesting is that the same reasons that low and middle income countries are the focus of tobacco control for a lot of us, which is that they're the places with young populations and they're fast growing, and the epidemic is fast evolving in those places, are the same reasons that make them important global markets for tobacco. And there's a sense of urgency about bringing all sorts of policy tools to curb the epidemic, and in this case, to make sure that governments are aware of being able to do as much as they can on tobacco taxation.